See. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to On the Town with Tanya. I'm your host, and I thank you again for being with us again this week and watching. Ladies, if you are over 40, or if you've ever thought that your body's best days are behind you, or that healing from something painful is only for other people, well, today's story is going to shift something in you. My guest today has spent over 23 years helping women rebuild their bodies, their confidence, and their faith. She's a two-time world champion fitness athlete, co-founder of HitchFit and SoulFIT retreats, and founder of Soul Strong Sisterhood, a faith-centered community built just for women over 40. But she's also co-author of The Breaker, the raw and redemptive story of her husband Micah's healing from childhood sexual abuse, a book she wrote in his voice while living the journey right beside him as his wife. I want you to please help me welcome the lovely Diana Chaloux-LaCerte. Hey, welcome.
Hey,
Thank,
Tanya.
Hi, thank you so much for being our guest. Thank you. We appreciate you for coming on the show. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Thank you again. So let's just hop right into it, I guess. So you spent over 2 decades helping women transform their bodies, but you didn't set out to also become a trauma advocate. I would like for you to share your story on how those two worlds collided in your own life.
Yeah, that's such a great question. So my fitness journey started, like you said, about 23 years ago with my own transformation. And I was kind of stuck in some really negative habits myself. I was compulsive overeating on a regular basis. I had gained a significant amount of weight in a very short period of time. And I was also working in the fitness industry. So I kind of felt fraudulent because I'm trying to teach people about healthy habits, but I know that, in my private life, I'm actually making very unhealthy habits. So I had what I call my Independence Day was on July 5th of 2005. And I woke up that morning and I felt I was bloated. I was very disgusted with myself. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize who the woman looking back at me because I'd gone out the night before and I was drinking and I had gone to McDonald's and I was just like, what are you doing to yourself? Like, why are you continuing in this spiral? And I literally made a choice that day to change everything. I had dreams of doing fitness competitions. And so that day I was like, I'm done thinking about it and talking about it. I'm going to start actually taking the action steps to do it. I actually hired 2 coaches to help me because I knew that I needed accountability and I needed people to guide me along the path of how to get where I wanted to be. Fast forward, I ended up losing 50 pounds, which was completely transformative to me. It didn't happen fast. It was little choices day by day that led up to that. And I was able to compete for my first time. I ended up winning that show. I kind of fell in love with the discipline of competing, ended up winning 2 world championships and several other shows, and being able to be in the fitness magazines like Oxygen, and start inspiring a lot of, other women who wanted to make changes for themselves. So that was all incredible. I met my husband, Micah, in 2008, and we started our business HitchFit. And because of the transformation I'd gone through, and he has his own transformation story, we wanted to help other people. So the heart of HitchFit became transformation and helping others build these healthy habits. And so over the course of the past 17 years with HitchFit, we've had the chance to work with people in 82 countries. I've helped over 10,000 women on their transformation journeys lose over 750,000 pounds of fat. So that's all amazing and incredible. And a couple years ago, I was like, we're still missing something. We can teach people these habits, but we would see after, we'd see incredible transformations, and then we would see people over the course of time go all the way back to their starting point. I was like, what is going on here? Like, we are still missing something, because for me, I lost the 50 pounds, and that's been 21 years now. And I was like, everybody's going to feel amazing, and they're just going to want to stay here, and they're going to want to make these choices for the rest of their life. And we started to realize, no, there's actually a deeper layer. Like, there's something more. Like, we wanted to be more than just a place where we were teaching people behavior modifications. How do we actually get to true heart level transformation? And that's where the trauma pieces started coming in. And my husband Micah also, as you just shared, like part of his story, he went through childhood sexual abuse, and for the past 10 years it was unraveling his story and being next to him for this messy healing journey to get to a place of freedom from that shame. And through the course of that, I was like, oh, all of this ties together, and these things I'm learning with helping him, also we can help our fitness clients with it. So I went and worked with the Arizona Trauma Institute, became a trauma and resilience life coach. I'm a biblical trauma informed coach through the Freedom Movement, and that education has been a game changer for being able to work with people and understand that for many people it's not as easy as here's what to eat, here's how to exercise. Those things will work, but often it's the story of the things that they went through in their past that makes it so hard to make those changes in the present, and being able to engage and untangle some of that. That's where we're seeing like true freedom. It's incredible. I love it. I'm like amazing. I'm here for it.
That is amazing. So as a wife, when Micah first disclosed his childhood abuse to you, what did that moment really feel like?
Well, what's really unique about our story, which we didn't actually understand how rare this was until we were quite a ways into his healing journey. I've known about Micah's story from when we very first met, and we met at a fitness expo in Las Vegas. Wow. Of all the places that you would think you'd share your deepest, darkest secret with someone that you didn't even know, that's probably pretty low on the totem pole. But and we had never met in person. We communicated through MySpace, was the social media back then, and MySpace was awesome. But we were like, hey, let's meet up. We're going to take a picture at the expo, and it'd just be cool to meet you, because we were just kind of moving in the same circles. And we met, and we really hit it off like immediately. I felt like I had known him my whole life. It was an instant connection, an instant friendship. And I hadn't been dating, so I didn't go to the Olympia Expo thinking, oh, I'm going to find a boyfriend and husband here. And he wasn't thinking that either. But within 24 hours, we were already having really intentional conversations. And for me, I had started turning my heart back to my relationship with Jesus and my relationship with the Lord. I had walked away from the Lord for many years, and I had just started coming back to him, and I had made a commitment that I was never even going to date someone again unless they shared my faith. And so within 24 hours, I knew I liked this guy, and I was like, oh boy, I'm going to have to ask a question here. That's probably not what he's expecting to hear. Right. But I just asked him, I said, hey, I got to ask you something. And I asked him, I said, do you have a relationship with Jesus? Do you know him as your savior? And he paused for a minute, and he was like, I do. I believe in Jesus, my savior. But he said, I'm angry at God. Okay. And I felt like there was something there. I knew that there was like a story there. But in that moment, I kind of just had the discernment. By God's grace, I had the discernment just to kind of hold the story. I didn't press into it then, but I could tell there was something heavier there. Fast forward to that night, and again, we were just having very intentional conversations, because it was like, oh, I think I found my person. And so we were at dinner, and I asked him, I said, why are you angry at God? And again, he kind of paused, and then he shared with me that he's like, because I was sexually abused by a man for 10 years, and he was a man in the church. He was actually a deacon in the church. And so it wasn't just sexual abuse, it was also spiritual abuse, and using the name of the Lord in vain to do these horrific things. Yes. So I've known our entire relationship, but him being that vulnerable and open with me, I just remember feeling just really, I'd never had a man share that with me before. Right. I remember feeling very sad for what he'd gone through, but also I remember just being like, thinking how courageous and strong this was for him to be this vulnerable with me so early in our relationship. I really found that, like, I really appreciated that. And it started our relationship with a depth that we simply wouldn't have had otherwise, Right. And I know that's not normal. Like, I know there's a lot of men, probably the majority of men that have gone through something like that, that have never told their wives or their significant others
Mm-hmm.
because of how deep that shame is rooted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's how that story started, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Wow. And to he must have really been spiritually digging you, as they say, to tell you to share that story because men usually never share.
Yeah.
So that in itself is amazing. You wrote "The Breaker" with him from his her perspective, in his voice. What was it like putting words to someone else's deepest wound, especially your husband's?
Well, man, it was a journey. It was probably a 2-year process of writing the book, and it was interesting because I knew way back when he had a vision like 10 years ago that he was like from the Lord, and it was like, you're going to be sharing this story on stages, and he was like, no, I
Mhm.
can't do that. But but then he was like, okay, if that's what I got to do, that's what I got to do. And so I knew in my heart that I was this one that was supposed to write it. I love writing. This is The Breaker is the 6th book that I've written. So like
Wow.
I love writing.
Okay.
But this was a really hard one because it was like I had to go into his pain, and
Right. Right.
I had to put myself in his shoes. And when you're writing, it was like over and over again, I'd be like, how we wrote it
Mm,
was I would sit on the floor in the living room with my computer, and I would be like, take me to a moment, like
mm,
take me in, tell me what you see, tell me what you hear. And some of those moments were really horrific and
yes.
horrible.
Yes.
With the book, we didn't this is not a graphic book though, so it was like being able to go in and be like, this is still a message of hope, so what do we need to share with people so that they can understand, they can relate, but they're not getting stuck in this story. And so
Right.
that was navigating that and just praying and having discernment about how do we make this a message of hope, like share the horror, but this is actually a message of hope. So it was
Right.
hard and messy,
Right.
and there were days I was like, it was a lot. It
Yeah.
was to carry that weight, and knowing what was coming, but it was also something exciting about it, and to be able to do it together, was
Yeah.
actually it brought us much closer together too.
Mm, mm. I can imagine writing a book like that, where you'd have moments where you had to stop, step away, and just sit with what you just wrote. So that's good that you both had each other to write it. Because I know when you write memoirs, especially, they can be quite painful when you get to certain places and like, oh, but it's good. There's a check system when you have it's a couple doing it. So that's nice. A lot of women think that supporting a husband through trauma means being quiet and strong. What did being strong actually look like for you behind closed doors?
It was a lot of listening, and my what I was trying to do was actually just be able to create a safe enough space for him to do the work that he needed to do.
Mhm.
Now, I wish that I could say this was the same for every woman, but I also understand that there's a lot of men that have turned to things to cope with the shame, including maybe drugs and alcohol and
Mhm.
pornography and are abusive, and there can be anger. And so I I'll share my story knowing that every woman's story is not going to be the same, because I didn't have a husband that was being abusive to me in those ways.
Right.
So I was able to create a safe space for him,
Yes,
because he was
exactly.
creating a safe space for me too. So
Mhm.
it goes both ways. So when I talk about this, it's because sometimes I have a lot of women asking me now, like, how did you get how do I help my husband if they
Right.
know, or they assume, or they think maybe he's gone through something?
Mhm.
And what I can say is like, if we can create a safe space
Mhm.
for healing to start happening, because as like we kind of know, if there's not safety, like healing isn't actually going to be happening.
Right.
But the safe space may come from you actually doing your own healing work first. And
Yes.
so it because the more that I have capacity to hold whatever it is that he needs to share, then the safer space I can be. What I did right was I didn't try to fix things. I didn't try to give like solutions. I was able to just sit in the hard stuff and the grief with him. And that I think was probably one of the most helpful things.
Yes, sitting in it, sitting
Yeah.
in the grief. That I like that statement. That's a good title for a book, actually, or a sermon. How did watching Micah heal change the way that you understood your own body,
My own
like
body.
your own stress, your own healing?
Well, what was interesting was for at least the first 7 years, it was really me holding the space for him to go through this journey. And I had always thought like I'm tough, I'm strong, I got this, like I'm healed from everything in my past too. And so for 7 years I was able to just hold that place of strength. But when I saw him really get to a place of freedom from a lot of what he was carrying, it actually made me recognize that I was carrying more from my past than I realized. I didn't even see it. It was like a blind spot for me.
Right.
And so when he got this just weight lifted off of him, it was almost like seeing him freer made me realize I had weight on me too. And so the roles kind of reversed in the last couple of years, as because to understand, to be able to do the trauma work and get all of the certifications and the stuff, I actually had to do my own work. You just don't go in and learn it and, oh, now I'll give it to you. You actually have to go in and do your own stuff, because you can only take someone else as far as you're willing to go yourself. So
Exactly.
he's reversed roles so that he could hold the space and be strong for me to go through all of this stuff that I have to unravel. And so I think that's what it was like. When you see someone who's really walking in freedom, it can kind of be like, oh, wait, like I'm kind of missing that. I'd actually like to have that too. How do I do that?
That's good. You call yourself let me see if I got it, biblical trauma informed coach. What does that phrase mean in practice? Like when a woman walks into your world carrying pain, she's never said out loud.
Yeah, it's so I've gone through, and I'm still going through. I'm going through a practicum with a group called Freedom Academy. And so I got through my first certification, which took about 2 years to go through for story engagement, and now I'm actually working with them through a practicum on story work. And so the biblical trauma informed, it comes from it's a spirit led and trauma informed perspective. So yes, we're taking a look at how the trauma is impacting how it impacts your body, how it impacts the choices that we're making, everywhere that your story from the past is colliding with your present. And so often people think that they're walking in the present, and they're still actually just walking in the past because of the story and the things that they've gone through. And so it takes all of that, but it takes a look at it from a biblical lens and a biblical framework, and understanding that we can invite Jesus into these places for healing, and understanding how the enemy comes in, and he's the one that offers us these lies when, you're not good enough, you're not worthy. All of these things are like, when there's been a harm and there's been a trauma, that is a great place for the enemy, for Satan to come in and be like, hey, see, look, you're not good enough. See, you're not worthy. Why don't you do this? This is going to make you feel better. So it's understanding that it's like there's a spiritual element to everything that we've gone through too, and the things that we've said yes to. And so that's what it means to be biblical trauma informed. It's like there's trauma informed that just takes a look at what the world says, but the biblical lens will take it, and it takes a look at what does the word say about this, and how do we get to a place of wholeness with Jesus.
Wow. Wow. So many women that are over 40, over me, and like me, over 50, but I won't say what. They feel like their bodies have betrayed them. Like, so through menopause, waking, belly, exhaustion, what do you tell a woman who feels like it's too late to get her body back?
Oh, well, goodness. I've had the opportunity to work with so many women, their 40s, 50s, and 60s. I will be 49 in 9 days. So
Ooh, yay.
I'm cruising into that big 50 here myself. So I understand firsthand also the hormonal changes that are real
Right.
and how that impacts us in so many ways. But there's so many things that we can be doing, and that's what I love teaching women. It's like sometimes they'll go to the doctor and the doctor will say, oh, this is just how it is, and it's like, no, like that's not true. There
Right.
are lifestyle habits that we can engage in and start building for ourselves that make such a tremendous difference on how we navigate perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. And I'm like, God designed us. Like, this isn't like, whoa, this is so weird. Like, God designed our bodies to go through this phase. And I actually kind of have this, especially going through it myself. I'm like, I believe that this menopausal season, it's like literally should be our mightiest season because we've gone through so much stuff. We have
Yes.
we have so much experience.
Yes. Clip
We've
that.
gone we've every woman has gone through the things. And I'm like, of course the enemy wants us to think that it's over, like
Yep.
there's nothing left to do. So I'm like, it's not true. There is
Yes.
hope. There's hope in even with the hormones changing, and whether a woman decides she wants to use some of the tools like HRT
Mhm.
or just navigate things like without using anything. Maybe she's not a good candidate
Right.
from health histories and that thing. Regardless,
Right.
the basic health habits make a tremendous difference. The strength training, how you're nourishing your body, good sleep, these things are
Mhm.
huge.
Yes.
One thing that I want menopausal women to know, though, is your story comes into play too. A lot of women don't realize that if there's harm, if there's trauma, whether it's
Mhm.
big T traumas, the sexual abuse, physical abuse, or the little T traumas, those type of things that have harmed us, if
Yes.
those are unhealed, they actually amplify the symptoms in a menopausal season. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
so it's like if because your estrogen levels drop,
Yes.
everything feels bigger and more, and everything, and it is harder.
Yes.
It is
Yes.
everything is more challenging,
It
but
is.
that doesn't mean not doable. So both of those things are true.
Absolutely. Well, I do believe how we eat also plays a part in that
Yes,
big time.
huge.
Like I've seen people say, "Oh, I got these sweats and I have this going on, that going on." I was like, "Well, judging by what I'm seeing, you can't be expecting a perfect menopause phase eating McDonald's." I'm just saying,
Yeah,
and I can be
yeah,
wrong, but I'm just saying that would not be. That's not even no nutrition at all.
yeah.
So we have to do that work first before we say, okay, this is full on menopause, and it's just because it is what it is.
Yeah. Oh, the
But I,
nutrition is huge. It's a
yeah,
huge
yeah,
component, and what a lot of women don't realize is the strength training and the nutrition are actually, we start losing muscle in our 30s as
yes.
women. And if you're not strength training and consuming enough protein, that starts speeding up. So what a lot
Oh,
of women don't realize is the weight gain that starts to come.
mm-hmm,
It's not poof, your hormones changed and suddenly you gained body fat. It's
right,
actually, if you look at all of the studies, what
right,
happens is if you lose muscle, you have a lower metabolism. And so if you're eating
no,
the same thing as you were before, but your metabolism is lower, the
yeah,
amount of calories you're eating that used to be your maintenance level is now excess.
oh,
So you're actually eating in excess. So the hormone changes alone
mm-hmm,
aren't why fat is gained. It's still because there's an excess being consumed.
mm-hmm,
And that happens faster when we're not strength training, when we're not sleeping well,
mm-hmm,
um, when we're not even actually paying attention to what we're eating. So
right,
all of that to say, like, the more attention you can bring to that, like, it it is absolutely controllable. You don't actually have to gain fat weight even during those phases.
yeah.
Everything's harder though.
It
it
is.
it is
I notice
harder.
now.
Yeah, yeah,
Wait till after 55 and 50.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's harder because also hormone hunger, the hunger hormones
Uh-huh.
are, you'll have more hunger hormones, so you feel hungrier. But that's why it's like eating protein, eating frequently throughout the day,
Right.
making sure you're nourishing your body helps with all those things. So it's this cycle. But like you said, like if it's eating fast food and it's eating this stuff, like that is a it doesn't help you physically, it doesn't help you mentally,
Right.
it's not going to help you with trauma healing, all of
No,
those things. So
no.
it matters tremendously how we're nourishing our bodies.
Absolutely. It all goes together, the mental and the physical, because you get one right, and if the other one's not, you'll be popping out over here. So
Yeah.
it's key. I'm learning now that everything's key. Suppose someone, I just question someone that told me to ask, suppose someone is a vegetarian and they're 55 and they've got a gut. And so what do they do for protein? Like, is quinoa good enough, or is there anything that you've seen that works?
Well, a vegetarian, you can still get all of your protein needs met with a vegetarian. If you're like, eggs are a great one.
Okay.
There's the dairy, like cottage cheese. I love cottage cheese. That's
See,
a
I don't eat
really
dairy, so
so
that for me.
if you don't do dairy, you can do fermented tofu. You can do
Can't do
uh
tofu.
you
Can't
can
do soy.
do
Allergic.
well, if you like, quinoa is okay. It really depends on what you're eating with it. Like, if you're
Okay.
and you have to have the awareness of, like, if you're going to have quinoa as your protein,
Mhm.
also that's bumping your carbohydrate intake up. So you
Okay.
can still get all of the protein that you need, but you have to really pay attention to, because if you're vegan and then you're having to do pairings of food to make sure that your protein is high enough,
Mhm.
and then you can take a look at which protein powders are going to work for you,
Mm.
because those can be helpful. There's
Mhm.
vegan protein powders. There's a lot of different kinds of protein powders that can help you get there. So
Okay.
I have worked with people that have the most restrictive, they're like, I won't eat this. I got allergies to this. It's fine. It's just the more that you have, you're gonna be more limited, and you're
Okay.
gonna have to bring more discipline and attention to what you're eating, because
Mm.
quinoa is a great protein source. It's just, you also have to take a look at what else am I consuming? How many carbohydrates am I getting? Like, am I getting enough fat? Like, all of those things too.
Right.
But quinoa
Right.
is it is a great whole protein.
Okay. So yeah. So you have different modalities for different people, right? Vegan, not vegan, vegetarian, whatever. So not just for those who eat meat. That's good. That's good to know, because I know a lot of people that say, how am I going to get the protein? Because I know all my friends that work out, they do eat chicken or something like that after they work out or before or something. And I'm like, oh gosh, and they're nice and cut. But I'm like, I wonder if after 50 that goes down because I'm not eating the meat. I wonder.
Not necessarily. It's just, you have to make sure you have to just take a look at everything you're eating. Making sure you're getting enough complete protein.
Right.
And then keeping an eye on, how many carbs and fat am I getting to have to achieve this type of, as much protein as I need,
Right.
making sure that you're strength training. But there really isn't, in general, there's not going to be something that's like, oh, you're vegetarian and you're 55, therefore you can't lose fat weight. Yes, you can.
Right.
You can.
Yeah. I believe that. Yeah. I mean, I saw a lady that's 70 something years old. And oh my gosh, she looks like she's 20 something, maybe 30 because of her hairdo, maybe 30. I'm serious. Her body, everything. But she's one of them strict macro vegans, and she has a whole garden at her house. I forgot her name. She's known. She's like Ernestine, except Ernestine does eat protein. You know Ernestine? She's like
Yeah.
80,
Yeah.
80 something years old.
I know who you're
She's
talking about. Yes.
amazing. And
Amazing.
she's a witness that
Yeah.
she was over 55 when she started. No
Yeah.
excuse. No excuse. No excuse. So I'm not trying to make any ladies. We don't have any. There is none. We have to get ourselves together spiritually, mentally, and physically.
That's right.
That's
That's
it.
right.
So you've said that this journey is as much spiritual as it is physical. When did you first realize that fitness alone was not going to fix what women were really struggling with?
Well, I feel like that's something I've known for nearly probably my entire life. It's,
Mhm.
I grew up having a relationship with the Lord, so I think I always
Okay.
knew that we are body, mind, and spirit. Like, that's how God created us. So
Mhm.
a lot of times we have this society that tries to split these things up and see them as individual things, but there's an integration of our body, mind, and spirit, and each one of them impacts the other. I think through my own journey I've realized that, but it's transformed for me because it's been 21 years, like, and I was in the fitness world, and there was, for sure, for me, there was a part of it that was an idolatry, and it was all about how I looked. And I had to wrestle with that and take that to the Lord and repent of some places where it had become not about stewardship of my body and the stewardship of something amazing that he gave me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where I'm at now. Is like, I want, when my body is strong and I'm taking care of this,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually can be an outward reflection of, not always, because some people can look amazing on the outside and their
Yep.
spiritual walk is not there. But the opposite, I think, is true too. Is if I'm walking in good stewardship of my body and my health, because I want to have the capacity for the calling that the Lord has on my life,
Mm-hmm.
then that those things are going to be congruent. They're going to be in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And so that it's like, it just kind of all works together. If I want to be my strongest spiritually, I actually have to take care of my physical body.
Yes.
Because if I'm not, that's actually a sign that something is off in my relationship with the Lord. If I'm going to food to
Mm-hmm.
meet a need, to numb, to cope, to get me through something, then
Mm-hmm.
that's coming in between my relationship with the Lord. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to alcohol, if I'm going to drugs, then those things, or if I'm just like, I'm not going to move my body, then I'm also just, I'm putting barriers up between how close that I could actually be walking with the Lord when I do that. I'm turning to other things instead of him. So not perfectly, it's not perfect, but it's just about, these bodies are such incredible gifts. Like,
They
it
are.
is actually amazing. And
Yes.
so, and when we steward them well, and we can have more focus, and we can have more energy, we can have more capacity to serve others, and
Mm-hmm.
we can have our strongest walk with the Lord and fulfill our callings. I'm like,
Yes.
I think
Exactly.
that's important.
Yeah, fulfilling our calling is everything. What's some moments, maybe like in your own marriage, where faith was the only thing that kept you standing?
Oh, I think probably the whole last couple of years. Today,
Today, I got you.
I just, there's so much, even since Micah's book has come out.
Mhm.
I mean, it came out in April,
Right.
and just even every day we're like, Lord, where are you taking us? And I mean, I have to be just on my face in front of the Lord every day, just like, we don't have the strength to do it. Like, you're going to have to give us the capacity for this. Because as he's shared, we have had so many men and women
Mm,
reaching out, sharing
wow.
their stories, um, just impacted by his story. He got to share with a group of 65 men
Wow.
last weekend,
Mm,
and it completely changed the group. Like, men were coming and opening up to him, like, and so it's like such an honor to
mm.
be able to be a part of a healing journey. But it's also, Lord, we can't hold all of this, and
Right. It's a lot.
what does that look
Yeah.
like?
Yeah.
And so every day is just relying on him, not just for how do we have the capacity, but where are we going with it? Where he wants to go.
Right.
What
Wow.
does this look
Wow.
like?
Wow. Yeah. That's yeah, when you help others heal, it often can what's the word? It can be a lot, I'll
Yeah.
say. And never too much, because again, if you're walking in your spirit and your path and your truth, it's never too much. It's just we're human, and we have our stuff we're dealing with as well.
Yeah.
So it's good to have a fine line of well, I say stay prayed up is what I usually say. Stay
Yeah.
prayed up and have a partner to tag team off of. So you have that. So that's a great thing. Um, so let's see. We got Soul Strong. Tell me about the women who joined Soul Strong Sisterhood,
Mm.
feeling maybe broken, sometimes invisible or forgotten. What usually shifts first, her body or her belief in herself?
Well, what's amazing is being able to do the story engagement and take a look at, I call it the weight beneath the weight.
Mhm.
And I've never seen anything like it, and it's why I wanted to build Soul Strong, because when I was able to pull the trauma pieces into the fitness and the faith and
Mhm.
kind of converge all of those, I was like, oh wow, okay. like, this is what we actually need, because I think in the faith and in Christian world, it's a lot of times we hear those scriptures of, my body's a temple,
Mhm.
and I know these things, but why am I not why is it so hard to actually do that in real life? And
Mm.
then that brings a shame cycle. I cannot even tell you how the most of the women, it's like they feel this shame of I should have done this. I lost weight once before and then it came back. I used to do this, I don't do it anymore. And the shame is so heavy
Mm.
because it's like, it's all of those lies of the enemy. You're not good enough. You can't do this. It's too late. It's all of
Mhm.
these things. And so I wanted to create a space where we could actually have shame-free, honest conversations where are we working towards strength training wherever we're at? Like, some women are total beginners, some are not. Are we working on building our healthier eating habits? Absolutely.
Mhm.
But I want to the place where we could go deeper and take a look at the shame and
Mhm.
unraveling that and telling a truer story and
Mm.
eliminating that from the equation, and be able to actually look at the places in their story where food became the thing and
Mm.
why,
Mm.
and get honest about it. And so just even being able to just take a look at what's deeper,
Yes.
engage the story. I call it's story engagement, where we sit together and we, in a shame-free space, can just be honest about what's going on
Mm.
and take a look at it and kind of unravel, so we can tell a truer story that will free us up to actually start making better, consistent choices. So
Abs-
it's more of a it's not a 12-week transformation, because this is hard work and
Yes.
it's messy and sometimes it's back and forth, but that's real life. And Soul Strong is a place where I wanted to be able to create that safe space for authenticity, so that we can actually get to the deeper roots, so that
Right.
we can actually move forward with where we want to be, instead of just staying in these looping patterns over and
Mm.
over and over
Mm.
again. So it's awesome. Like, I
Absolutely.
love it. It's been incredible, and it's such a
That's nice.
supportive group of ladies. And
Mhm.
it's like, I'm hoping it's something the Lord continues to build, because that deeper work is actually what sets us free to
Absolutely.
have the freedom in our health that we want for today.
Absolutely. If you don't get to the root of the problem, then you'll just keep putting band-aids, is what I say.
Yes.
So that's amazing. That I love the name of it. How'd you come up with the name?
Well, because our retreats was SoulFIT retreats, and then we have our TV show SoulFIT TV on
Yes.
CTN, the Christian Television Network.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to call it
Congratulations.
SoulFIT. Yeah, which is really fun too. So I was like, I actually thought about calling it SoulFIT Sisterhood, but I was like, nah, I want something different. And I like strong. Like, I was like, when I was like, oh, Soul Strong, because
Mhm.
I want, the goal is to help women build strength in the body, mind, and spirit. And so, and it flows with it. Like, it
It does.
feels like it's in the same ecosystem as the Soul Fit, but
Yes.
that's for my ladies.
That's great. I love it. So you've built businesses, written books, hosted TV, but what's one thing? What's something about this current season of your life that surprised you?
Oh, I think what surprised us is the Lord kind of handed us a whole bunch of stuff, like, all at the same time, and we were like, "What are we doing?"
Right,
Like,
right.
our we had our TV show just started this year. That opportunity came up. We launched a podcast. We had Micah's book. We had
Wow.
this Soul Strong app. So it was like, oh, we started a supplement company.
Mm.
It all
Okay.
happened within like the same couple of months, and it
Wow.
wasn't because we planned it that way.
Mhm.
So we were like, Lord, why everything all at the same time? And I think that surprised me, of like, why did all of this just happen to converge at the same time? So we're still in this space of like, where do you want us to go with all of these things? And we have some big dreams. And I think, honestly, I don't even know what it's going to look like even a year to two from now. I think it's just the Lord just keeps bringing on us on this adventure of like, you're going to have to stay dependent on me for
Right.
everything.
For everything.
And for me, we're part of like my trauma is like being independent and I'm going to
Right.
do this. He's like, nope, Like, you're going to have to learn dependence on me for everything.
Yep.
And that's going to, that's been hard, but
Yeah.
it's like, that's the only place that we're going to be the safest and the, most fulfilled is when we're dependent.
Right. Wow. Well, um, that's amazing. If Micah hadn't healed the way he did, do you think the Breaker or Soul Strong would even exist today?
No, I I think what's so interesting, especially about the Breaker, is like when we when we were writing his book, like we read a lot of other books too, and what
Hmm.
I kept seeing over and over is a lot of people sharing their harm and sharing their trauma, but then there was no hope, and there
Right.
was no. It was
Mhm.
like we'd finish reading a book, and I'd be like, oh, I still feel like
Right.
stuck,
Right.
and the thing that is different about the Breaker, especially for men,
Hmm.
specifically for men, is
Mm.
the hope and the freedom that it brings. And
Mm.
this would not be as impactful of a book if there wasn't hope and freedom. If it
Mm.
was just a trauma dump, here's all the things that happened to me,
Right.
without there actually being hope and freedom,
Yeah.
we would not be seeing what we're seeing happen.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I probably wouldn't have gone into the trauma space. And yeah, like I don't know that any of that would exist if he had chosen to keep this inside.
Wow. Well, what do you want women or men reading the Breaker to feel by the last page? What do you want them,
Hope. I
especially if they're
mean,
carrying secrets of their own?
yeah,
So
that
many.
oh, and it's so many people. I
I
mean,
know.
so
One
many
out of
people
five.
have, yeah, I think even more than that,
I do too.
honestly.
This is
Yeah,
reported. Right.
because because they would say like 1 in 4 women, and the more that we have gotten into, I think it's the same for men, whether
Yep.
it's like a one time thing or repeated. It's like the shame
Yes.
still gets a grip, and
Yes.
so many people think, I'm hiding it, I'm never going to tell.
Right.
It shows up. It doesn't matter. It's their symptoms. It
Yes.
shows up in all of these ways that people think, I'm putting in this little compartment, I'm never going to talk about it.
Nope.
And honestly, there's people that their brain has protected them and they don't even have access to the memories, but it's playing out in their lives too. So
Exactly. What they attract, the people they attract, the mates they attract,
yeah. Yeah.
how their behavior to their body, to themselves, to others. A lot of that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I want people to know that there's hope, and it doesn't mean a quick fix. Like,
Yes.
it can be a messy journey, and there's a cost to healing. And I
Mm.
think that's why a lot of people won't go on a healing journey, and the majority of people, I think, do stay stuck their entire lives.
Yes.
And I think that's sad. And
Yes. It's how you get so many dysfunctional people,
yeah,
uh, and a world I say full of not full of love. That's how you get it. People that
yeah.
didn't do the healing work, and traumatized as children, that didn't get any. They have no inclination. They're just finding out. Oh my gosh, that was not even right, and it's not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
We have to. And that's why I do the podcast, because I really just want people to pay attention, when people like yourself, like Micah, come and share stories. I don't do it just to have guests. You can find a guest anywhere, but people I try to pick are people who add value to other people's lives. You do fitness, you do trauma, you do all these things that are important for healing. And some people just be like, and I'm like, why aren't you taking free advice? It's free. You don't even have to pay $600 for a session. You know what I'm saying? Like, take
Yeah.
it. And I just want people to be empowered, and people don't understand that you have to take, when people like yourself or Micah writes books, or come and speak at events, go. If you have trauma, go, because that is how you're going to start your healing process. You might get your jewel from God there.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to understand that you never know where that's going to pop up. But guess what? If it's something that's just giving you information, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you. That's why I appreciate you guys, because information is everything. What you don't know could hurt you or someone else.
Yeah.
It could really hurt you. It could send someone on a tailspin. But what you do know can actually lead someone out of darkness.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's why it's important.
Mm.
So for women, who feel stuck physically and emotionally, spiritually, what's the very first small step that you'd have her take today?
I
Just for
think
today.
I think the first step is actually getting honest with yourself and say, what do I want? Like, what
Yes.
do I actually want?
Hmm. Exactly.
And that it has to start there,
Hmm.
because you have to make a decision of if it's going to be worth it or not for you. And
Yes.
it's like Jesus, like a lot of times he didn't just go up and heal people. He was like, what do you want?
Right.
He was like, what do you want me to do? And they had to say, I want to be healed. And
Yes.
so we have to start there of what do you actually want? And
What do
and
you
then what,
want?
yeah.
As Tony Robbins said, what's your why? What's your why? Is that what he says? What's your why?
Yeah, it's the why, and it's also, first off, it can be foundationally, who are you? Like, what are you saying? Who are you saying that you are? Like, what's your identity first?
Mm, mm. That's it. That is everything. And if you could speak directly now to a woman who thinks it's much too late for her to heal, too late to get strong, it's too late to feel like herself again, what would you say to that?
I would just say there is hope, and it can start with just one small step. It does not have to be this fast journey, and that's okay. It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be an all or nothing journey.
Hmm.
You've gone through things,
Hmm.
and those things are impacting your present day, but that doesn't mean that there isn't hope for you to be able to move forward.
Mm.
There is literally hope for everyone to be able to move towards a healthier place in their body and their mind and their spirit, and it can be just one little small step.
Wow.
It may
One
just be, yeah, one little small step.
One small step, guys. That's it. Wow. Thank you, Diana. Thank you for showing us that healing isn't like a straight line,
Mm,
and that getting stronger in your body and the faith is possible at any age.
mhm.
So thank you. I appreciate that. And for you guys out there, I appreciate you for watching. If you've ever felt like it's too late, let this be your sign that it is not. Go check out Soul Strong Sisterhood. Grab a copy of The Breaker. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Grab a copy of The Breaker. It's a great book. Okay, there it is. And if you forget anything, you can always, you can always find me on any of the social media. So Soul Strong Sisterhood, check it out. Go friend them. Subscribe and subscribe to our channel. Grab the breaker and start your own comeback story, guys, today. Okay, I want to thank you guys, my viewers. Join us on Instagram, on the Town with Tanya. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to Diana's channels, and all the tags are down there. And you can go it's in the YouTube description. So don't forget, I never forget to put it in the YouTube description. So that's fine. And who's this? Thank you, Norma Jean. Thank you so much, DJ Joe. I appreciate. Thank you for the coins there. I appreciate you. I appreciate you every time. You're always showing up. You and Grandma Norma. Thank you. And Tony, I appreciate you too. And Diana, you are the best. I'm so happy that there's hope in the world when I see people like you and Micah. There's hope, and I'm so grateful for that because we need it. We all need it. And I tell people you got to stay prayed up, and you got to stay around people who are bringing you positive light. Simple. So thank you.
Mhm.
And
Oh, thank you, Tanya.
yes, thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon. Guys, thank you. And we'll see you next Sunday.